and I come here to talk. I hope you understand. The green eyes, yeah, the spotlight shines upon you. And how could anybody? I came here with a love, and it feels so much lighter. Now I met you, and honey, you should know that I could never go on without you. Green eyes, honey, you are the sea upon which I flow, and I came here to talk. I think you should know. The green eyes, you're the one that I wanted to find. And anyone who tried to deny must be out of their mind. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I feel without you. If you should ever leave me, well, life will still go on, believe me. The world will show nothing to me.
You may be seated, please.
She gives of herself with our love and our blessing. Your father.
Well, I'd like to welcome all of you to this extraordinary day where we have the privilege of taking part in one of the real joyous celebrations that can occur in one's life. And I'd like to personally thank Nicole and our parents for having the privilege of doing this. I'm not used to doing these sorts of things. I'm used to standing in classrooms with 500 people, but this is a little tougher than that. And it's also not often that your reward for tormenting two people in the classroom for 6 or 8 years is to have the opportunity to marry them. So this is a different set of circumstances for me. So, well, it is customary for an individual performing a ceremony like this to begin with words of wisdom to the bride and groom concerning the joys and the challenges and the commitments that accompany devoting their lives to one another. Such comments are normally deep and profound, and they come from a long history of marrying people and talking about love and marriage and commitment, and as I've just stated, I have none of those to offer. So instead, my plan is to rely on the one thing perhaps that I do have to offer, and that is basically spending and loving the same woman for 40 years or so, and what it feels like to have that love returned. So that's my credentials. So the process of transforming your commitment that you make today to a long-standing relationship that survives this crazy world in which we live is at the very least a daunting task. And each year there are hundreds and maybe even thousands of books that are written about the most successful marriages and how they're achieved and so on. And while I'd never minimize the complexity of all those things that are written, I'd like to propose the possibility this evening that maybe it's a little more simple than that. And so both of you are well acquainted with research. As a matter of fact, it could be said that your relationship was a product of years in the laboratory. Consequently, I thought I would share a little bit about what research has to say about the two of you and what you're about to do here. In a recent national study costing several hundreds of thousands of dollars, it was investigated, or the characteristics of the most successful marriages were investigated. And of course, as the case always with research, there are hundreds and hundreds of pieces of data analyzed and individuals interviewed, and at the end there was, as always, a profound conclusion. And Grant, I want you to pay attention to this part of it. Surprisingly, that out of this study, it was determined, and this is where the nugget is, so hang with me on this. It was determined, and this is a true story, it was determined that the most successful marriages were those where the husband agreed to do what the wife wished on most Now, I doubt seriously whether there are many husbands in the audience who would say that that was money well spent. But, and it may be pleasing to other people in the audience, but it in fact is not the secret I'd like to leave with you this evening. So within minutes, the both of you, the two of you, will give each other a gift that's likely the best gift that any person really has to offer, and certainly one that will change your lives forever. And of course, I'm speaking of the willful promise of a lifelong commitment to one another. And let me repeat that again, because I think that's pretty important. In just a few minutes, you're going to take a step that will mean that neither of you will ever be the same again. And in fact, what you do here today will create a playing field where the greatest of all joys and the most difficult of times will become regular parts of your normal lives. That's pretty amazing. And at this point in the process, it may even seem just a little bit scary. So we live in a world where entitlement and the emphasis on meeting one's personal desires and the drive to be assured that I get my fair share has become the norm. And unfortunately, or I should say, however, in modern psychology and the world's great religions have all come to the same conclusion,